Oh my gosh. Presented by Wearable Fandom. Welcome to Where Mighty Things number 64. My name is Dustin and I am your host, live and direct to you from San Francisco. My friends, Where Mighty Things is a podcast all about the Roosevelt's brand and community. If fandom, fashion, and friends sounds fun to you, well, then you have come to the right place. To receive all of our content updates, please subscribe, ring that bell, and get all of our notifications as new content releases. It is great to be back with everybody. Man, spring is in the air. It's 80 degrees here in San Francisco. And oh my gosh, it sounds like it's hot, hot, hot down in Orlando at MegaCon. We're going to talk about all of those things. MegaCon, the exclusives, the new drops, including Where the Wild Things Are. That came out of nowhere for me. We're going to get started and talk about all of those things, as well as wish our friends down in Orlando a very high and happy how you doing. But I'm not going to do this alone. And I think you guys remember from last week that my good buddy John Madigan, well, he went to MegaCon. And to be honest, I should have gone as well, but it wasn't in the cards, and we'll explain why. But I am not alone, my friends. I am here with the captain, the coach, the co-host, the only person that you know who has stormtroopers at his house asking questions during Christmas, the one and the only Ron DePody. Hey, Ron, welcome back to Where Mighty Things.
Hey, Dustin, how's it going, buddy? I'm glad to be here.
It's good to see you. You know, and you did have stormtroopers asking questions.
No, it was awesome. We our very opening night of our Christmas display this past year, we partnered up with the 501st Legion here in Colorado, and we had a bunch of stormtroopers and other characters come out, all suited up. They were here for several hours, taking pictures, talking to everybody, and we raised over $700 that night for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So it was pretty cool and a nice way to get involved with them, and hopefully we got a partnership going forward.
And now I will tell you something that I probably should keep this in my pocket, but I'm bad at keeping things, because I feel like if it didn't move you to action, then you probably should come up with a better idea. John and I actively thought about cosplaying stormtroopers and showing up at your place when the 501st was there.
That would have been awesome.
And just being in costume and coming up and like harassing you when it was downtime, you know, not in front of people where there's money to be raised, but just kind of coming over and just like giving you grief, and then eventually, obviously, letting you.
Well, it's funny because that's kind of how the partnership started. Because like last year, the season before, there was a guy who was just out taking pictures, and he was dressed in his costume, and his name ended up being Dave Adams. He's a member of the local chapter, and he saw and heard about the house and just wanted, as a Star Wars fan, to take pictures and whatnot. And then him and I have developed a friendship over the last year and a half or so, and that got us down the road to where we are now. So it would have been awesome to see you guys, and with that in mind, we are having a Denver meetup this year, so maybe you guys can look at getting your butts out here, and I can show you a good time out here in Denver.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I hope that we will. I'm trying. I'm going to try to come to the Denver meetup. And didn't we decide that like somehow collides with something that John's doing?
It's right after the cruise is the big thing. So like, I mean, we've got the cruise is like 2 weeks before. So yeah, I think he's still going to be in rest and relaxation mode after that.
Probably. I don't know. He's young. He doesn't need rest or relaxation. He's got two good knees, Ron. You and I do not. Right? Like, John, get up. Let's go. Let's get going. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I actually really like Denver. Every time I've been there, it's been great. I have some friends that actually own a comedy theater downtown Denver, right next to the ballpark.
Oh, nice.
And so it's I'd love to drop in on them, and who knows, maybe you'll find me on stage.
Well,
just out of nowhere.
We've got a Murphy bed and a pull-out couch and everything. So there's always a place for you here, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. And hey, well, before we get too much further talking about MegaCon, all of the great drops and the exclusives from the show, as well as some very brand new news that we want to talk about, I got to ask, what are you wearing, my friend?
Well, with the MegaCon theme in mind, I'm wearing the only MegaCon shirt that I own. This is the 2023 Skywalker Saga shirt. The Whale Hunter Aaron Williams got it for me the year that came out. Nice. And I've cherished it ever since. It to me, it's a beautiful shirt. I love the combination of all the Star Wars on the one shirt. It got some great colors, some great artwork, and it's been a pinnacle of my collection for several years now. So How about you? What are you wearing today?
Well, I am wearing the Series 1 Orlando Floral, also a MegaCon exclusive. This is one of my favorites. These are the one with the Birds of Paradise, the most excellent pocket. I'm always on about that. And of course, these are Orlando Magic colors. When I was growing up, the Magic were a brand new team. I remember when they went to the finals for the first time, and Orlando didn't seem to know what that meant. I remember they beat the Chicago Bulls in December of their first season, and the Bulls were the world champs. I mean,
I am and was a huge Shaq fan, so I remember those vividly. Like the whole '93 year, '94, like that section of time. Like I still remember the starting five, and those colors are to me still some of the best colors for any sports team. That silver, that blue and black, like they just pop, and they've been perfect for that team, and the color combination goes so well with so many things. So I'm always a huge fan of that. I got plenty of the Orlando blue and black in my collection, and really the shoes right over here. This entire rack of shoes over here is pretty much Shaquille O'Neal pumps and the Shaq Gnosises, because I just love that guy. He's always been my favorite ball player.
Okay, so I've met Shaq. Do you want to hear about what I said to Shaq when I met him?
Definitely. What you said.
Okay, so this goes back to when Shaq was a rookie, and I think I was just at the age where I could go to nightclubs and things like that.
Yeah.
And the Magic were it had been a big deal, but they hadn't really been successful. That's part of the reason why they ended up with Shaq. And the NBA players, lots of them. In fact, I had a bunch of friends that were like really good friends with Pippen and Scotty Skiles, and they would always talk about hanging out. I'm like, hey man. And he's like, no. I can't take you to hang out with those guys. You're just gonna like goon it up. But I was walking into this club on Orange Avenue in downtown Orlando. It was called the Beach Club, and Shaquille O'Neal's walking out. There's no mistaking Shaq. There's absolutely no mistaking Shaq. It's Shaq. So what did I say to him? What did I say to him? What's up, Diesel Man?
Nice.
My ex was there with me, and she was like, well, "You're a dork,"
just shaking her head.
And
I met him once.
Periodically, she brings it back up. Yeah,
I used to work in sports media here in Denver, and in 2004 they had the NBA All-Star Game out here, and it's when I think he was still might have been in Miami at that point.
Maybe, yeah.
But I did have a brief encounter, and it was another him and Charles Barkley threw a party at one of the nightclubs that was just down the street from the Channel 4 studios, and so we met him briefly, and it's one of the most intimidating things, especially as a big fan. And I can't act as a fan when I'm in that capacity and role.
Of course.
But you shake his hand, and his hand just like engulfs your arm.
Yeah. It's like you have a child's hand.
And when you stand next to him, really his belt line is at your face. And it's just, the whole thing is just, it's just so I'd almost say it's emasculating, because he's just so much humanity. But he's such a nice guy, and he's just always a smile and a handshake. And I've never heard anything bad about him. And he's like I said, he's always been, since that moment when to be honest, when he broke the backboard at LSU and smashed the glass, and I was in middle school at the time. I was hooked right there. I was like, that's my guy. Whatever team he's going to, that's my basketball team.
Yeah, no, he definitely was dominant. I am enjoying all of the retirement banter that he and Charles have when they're on TV, or when they're just talking smack about people, or they're weighing in on the LeBron versus MJ for best of all time and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's fine, but it's really fun. It's really fun to meet some of those folks, especially when they're nice. And another thing before we dive into all of the stuff about MegaCon and Roosevelt's, there's a new feature of our show that I want to bring up right now. I didn't tell John about it, and I definitely didn't tell you about it. If notice, if you're here listening live, you don't need to necessarily go back and watch the pod, but you guys are such an important part of making the experience fun, keeping the energy going, and being here to kind of help set us straight, especially in the case of, Dan. The Danimal is here to kind of make sure we get things right. We're going to now take names of the episodes directly from the chat. So if you're in the chat and you think you got an idea, or you hear something, you're like, ooh, a name for an episode, make a mark, and you can just say name for episode, and then just throw your thing in there. And if it sounds good, we'll pick it and it'll be yours, and we'll give you the credit. So yeah. So while you guys are hanging out, chilling here, if you hear something funny, especially if it's funny, if it's I say something stupid, that's good too. But just throw a thing in your like possible title for the episode into the chat, and we'll actually consider that.
I like it. And that's one of the things I love, like when I'm not stepping in for you guys, one of you guys, I love all the interactions in the chat. And even if it's things that don't make it, to air that you guys comment on, there's always good banter down there, and such a good group, and so many people who come back every week. And to be honest, for me, it's become just as much a part of the show as anything is just how our family kind of interacts every Thursday night. So it's become appointment television in my mind.
Oh, well, that's great to hear, because that means we got to keep making the appointment. Well, cool. And speaking of the chat, let's say hello to everybody. Oh, hey, look, the Phantom Traveler. That was me. I just wanted to be the first person to post. Followed by, oh, hey, look, it's Ron.
Who knew?
We've got we got Loafer John Madigan official. Shout out to Ron for filling in. Good luck, guys. Have a good show.
How many drinks has he had already?
That's good. And it says, miss you, buddy. You and I next week. That's got to be Madigan from the Wearable Fandom account. Then we've got Gabe here. Love that Ronhausen. We're going to talk about Ronhausen and Danhausen. And Dustin is the best. You are the nicest guy ever, Gabe. Looking sharp. And then we've got Bumpin' 19. Hi. And Bumpin' 19 tells us, oh, I got to change my username. I'm Jeff Morrow. It's good to see you, my friend. Great to hang out with you, Jeff. And check it out. Number one fans of this channel, Gary and Debbie, are here. I love it. Sorry, Ron. You're a strong third, but Gary and Debbie have been here and have been
at this point I don't even consider myself a fan of the channel. I'm part of the team now that you've
there we go
in the credits. So
the right attitude.
We'll give them the top spot.
I'm glad you feel that way, because I remember when we made that new intro and you were just like, oh, I don't know if I qualify. I'm like, you're in there, dude. You're definitely
that was awesome. Like I was shocked and surprised, and it meant the world to me. And I'm glad that since then I've been able to fill in a bunch more times and whatnot.
Yeah.
We'll get you some more pictures, and especially once we get some cons going where I'm with our people, we'll get some more stuff to mix in there too. But I feel like I've been part of the family since you guys started tagging me in, and I love being able to participate and hang out with you guys.
Yep, you are the best, and you are all also welcome. And yes, you do belong on the team. So one of the things that I love when you come, because John's an MMA fan, so John wants to talk about UFC and the Banff championships and things like that. And I had my time with that, but I don't I don't watch it all the time. But you and I happen to both be fans of professional wrestling, and there's a particular dude who's kind of making his name. I don't want to say that he's new, because he's been around, but he certainly has found his way into a new audience's attention. And I wanted to briefly talk to you about this guy. Not Ronhausen, but Danhausen.
Nice.
Danhausen. Now, go ahead.
Something else, man. I have really enjoyed him. I didn't know a whole lot about him before he signed with the WWE. I'd seen him briefly. He made appearances in AEW and Ring of Honor. He's kind of an indie legend, but I didn't know what to expect. I'll say that I didn't think the way they brought him in at Elimination Chamber was necessarily the best way, with all the dampers and the what's in the box thing. But since that moment, he is must-see TV. I don't care if you're a wrestling fan or not. When he pops up and does his bit, you can't take your eyes off him. And I mean, he's already shot up the charts as the #1 merchandise seller on WWE Shop. He's great. And I've always been a fan of them having the comedy bits on wrestling. I'm always a believer that wrestling is kind of, there should be something for everybody, and You've got some serious storylines, you've got some romance storylines, and you always need somebody that's got a good comedy storyline and just
Totally.
kind of break things up. And he's doing that. I hate that it's kind of taken away from R-Truth's time, but R-Truth is probably not going to be. He's in his 50s or whatever now, so he's not going to be around for a whole lot longer, I wouldn't think. So it's nice to have somebody kind of picking up that torch and carrying it.
R-Truth, 50s. I mean,
Yeah.
Flair arguably is, well, I think he's done now, but like Flair's basically 80. So,
Some of these guys are smarter though than Flair and don't want to get back in the ring over and over again. So
yeah, for sure.
Which is sad to see with Rick. It always kind of feels like a money grab now because how many final matches has he had?
Well, he needs to settle lawsuits. Like that's what happens. He needs money to like get out of hock somewhere somehow. But Danhausen has been like a breath of fresh air for the WWE. And even though the Elimination Chamber intro thing went over, like he was actually booed.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They didn't, you could still hear it a little bit, but he definitely got booed. I loved it because are you a fan of like the old Universal monster movies?
Oh yeah.
Mummy. Totally. Did you ever watch like Elvira or like the late night
Up
movie
All Night
host?
with Elvira and things like that? Oh yeah. Totally.
The current
he definitely
guy
fits that like B-rate horror movie kind of characterization and whatnot. And
yeah,
I love it. I can't wait. They haven't put him in the ring yet, so I can't wait until they get him in the ring and do something because he actually is a very, very good, very accomplished wrestler. So I look forward to when we finally get to see that. But yeah, you're right. It's a breath.
Svengoolie.
Yep.
So Svengoolie is like the basically. I don't want to say he's the last late night horror host, but he basically is. He's on MeTV. He has his show. I have an action figure of this guy. My parents got it to me. They gave it to me for Christmas. But he's kind of been around since the 70s and kind of doing his thing. And he's got like his whole crew. And I think he's getting old too. But that same kitsch kind of like weird kind of like you said, like B-rated energy is exactly what Danhausen's got going for him.
Totally. And Svengoolie is like he's had Weird Al as somebody who's taken liberty, learned from Svengoolie and done comedy because of the way Svengoolie did. And so, he's got a lineage of people like this who kind of take the mantle and keep it going. So it's going to be fun. And it came at a good time because, to be honest, I feel like the product has been struggling a lot lately since the end of the Cena thing. Like the Cena thing propped it up through to the end of the year last year, and even at that point a lot of the storylines were kind of starting to fall flat, and especially this push towards WrestleMania, which is really about a month away at this point. I don't know about you, like there's nothing that I've been like super in awe of or like, oh my god, like this is why I would want to be at Mania this year or anything like that. But with him, it's been all of a sudden like I'm back to like every Monday. Like I need to be watching Raw live because I want to see what they do with him. I want to see who gets cursed next.
Yes, that's his jam.
You
are
exactly
cursed.
my brother J-Dub and I have been doing that like crazy and driving our wives insane whenever we go out because now that I've got him into the shirts like myself. We've been going out a good bit recently, and it's shirts and it's wrestling, and our wives just sit there and talk about Harry Potter and whatever else that they enjoy, and just roll their eyes at us for being such juvenile delinquents.
Yeah. When to your point about the product struggling, there's also been a bunch of key injuries, and now they're trying to figure out their storyline is too brittle where it so relies on individual personalities to make the matches. And I'm like, he's just a breath of fresh air. He's fun. We've seen him in the ring, but we haven't seen him wrestle. He's not a big guy.
No,
he's not a big guy, and he's not like he's not a built guy either, but he's definitely got that character on lock, and it's a lot of fun to watch and see what he's up to.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question for you. Every year, Roosevelt's bringing this back to the kind of core reason we're here chatting. Roosevelt's does a drop for WrestleMania.
Yep.
So sometimes they have like an exclusive WrestleMania shirt that you might only be able to buy there. Danhausen, like you mentioned, is the top merch seller. His shirts are number one on the WWE charts. I don't know why they chart that, but I guess it's a signal of like how much over a particular
exactly.
personality is. Do you think that the Roosevelts will have Danhausen on a shirt by Mania?
The big question for me with that is just what the turnaround time really is on the shirts, because I've heard that it's anywhere from like 6 to 8 months, sometimes a year. And did they have some inside information that Danhausen was being signed? Were they early, as soon as he got in, were they able to start turning merchandise, the shirts they're selling at the events are, press on to a black shirt. Like you can pump those out like no other, but something like what the Roosevelts makes, did they have enough time to produce that in the way that they do? I have my doubts. Yes. I hope they do. I think it would be an amazing seller. I know those of us in the wrestling groups, subgroups, are clamoring for when there will be one. But I just doubt that there was enough time to turn it, and hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. Usually that drop is a couple weeks away from now. It's usually about 2 weeks before Mania. So I'm hoping that they hit us with a surprise. If not, there are still plenty of superstars that I feel like they have skirted around or hadn't done. They do a lot of classic superstars. The current superstars has been kind of lacking. We finally got a Roman, and we finally got Randy Orton and Rhea, and we've got Punk and Cody. But there's, can we get Alexa? Can we get Liv? I really would love some female representation. There's only Rhea, so, yes. Can we get some female representation? Can we get some of the New Day? I don't know how we don't have a New Day shirt. Like if you during their first run of wrestling shirts, if you would give me a New Day shirt with rainbows and pancakes and all that on it, instant buy.
100%. Gabe says if they drop a Danhausen shirt, it should be a Halloween WWE collab. Great idea.
That would be
great idea.
Yeah,
Gabe. He also reminds us that Spanguli isn't the only late night horror host. Joe Bob Briggs is still around. Of course, you're right, Gabe. See, this is why we need the chat.
Somebody's
to keep us on point. Yeah, like otherwise. And I think you're right. I'll make a couple of predictions here of what I think is going to happen. I think the Roosevelts is going to gamble that it's been enough time that they can get away with doing a Hogan shirt. Like you're going to do another Hogan shirt, like just like kind of a shirt into his memory.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to pull that off. I don't think there'll be a Danhausen shirt. I think. Let me think. And then I was going to say I got to think of who's going in the Hall of Fame that I think will actually get a shirt this year.
Well, this year's Hall of Fame is really lacking right now. It's Stephanie McMahon, it's AJ Styles, and it's Demolition, and that's all that they've announced so far, which is crazy. It seems like a really small class this close to WrestleMania. And it blows my mind, and I know why they're doing it, but it blows my mind that Cena isn't in immediately. I know that they're holding that for next year's WrestleMania over in Saudi. They're going to use that as a selling point for Saudi. They're going to have him there in Saudi. But how you put AJ in immediately, and I love AJ. He is the phenomenal one. He's what got me addicted to TNA wrestling while I was in college and just after college, and the crazy 6-sided ring. But I do not believe for any moment that he deserves to be the headliner or the first person in immediately after retirement compared to what we just saw with Cena, and Cena sitting there not in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, we should think about, I love wrestling, but I'm not big enough into like following AEW. Mm-hmm. Like I will follow CML. I will watch some like New Japan or Stardom, and then WWE. I just kind of like watch whatever is kind of going on, but like Josh Clements, some folks are like big stands for AEW. So I don't think we could pull off a podcast where I don't feel like I'm engaged enough to like be able to say interesting things. Like I'm watching, but we could get
like a roundtable thing though, where there's several of us who are familiar enough. Because I to be honest, I wasn't a big AEW guy until recently, and I still wouldn't say I'm a big AEW fan. I would track it because it made it so I could keep up with conversations within the wrestling groups or
Right.
whatnot, and it kept you familiar with wrestlers when they would pop into the WWE.
Right.
But
Right.
about 3-4 weeks ago, I went to my first live AEW show here in Denver. My brother and I went, and it was a Collision and Dynamite double taping. So it was like 4.5 hours long of both of their shows, the first one live, and then they did their Saturday show right after. I'll tell you, the price is amazing. We spent like $96 a ticket. We sat fourth row.
Wow.
Whereas we went to SmackDown in
That's
November and we
affordable.
spent $150 per ticket. And we were like, top of the 100 level, almost behind the screen, and could barely see anything. So the price was right. The venues are nice and small, so you feel like part of it. I was chanting things at some of the wrestlers and at some of the managers, and they were pointing and they were reacting to it, and so you felt like part of the show. It made me a totally different fan coming out of being there for that than I was before. And I'm looking forward to the next time they come to town to go and experience that again.
Yeah.
I think when you compare the products, it's almost apples and oranges. Everybody wants them, relive the Monday Night Wars. I don't think we're there. I think WWE is like the Hollywood polished product. It is storylines. It is very driven on profit lines and who you can push and what merch you can sell, and especially with TKO taking over.
Yeah.
But AEW is very wrestling. Some of the storylines make no sense, and they push things a little too far, which we probably saw this weekend with MJF. But the wrestling that they do, what they put on in the ring is just, it's not like what WWE is doing, and I think they set themselves apart. And where everybody's crying for this head-to-head thing, I don't think it's there, because I think whoever you are as a wrestling fan, one or the other is going to kind of suit your preferences. And
Sure.
and I've always been more the WWE, WWF guy. But I'll tell you, if you're somebody who prefers the holds and the wrestling in the ring, AEW is where it's at right now.
Yeah. I grew up as an NWA kid, and that's because Florida Championship Wrestling was down the street at the Eddie Graham Sports Complex,
Nice.
which is now it's a subdivision. If we're ever in Orlando at the same time, like if you go for MegaCon, it wouldn't mean that much to you, but that when I was a kid, that's when I saw Luger and Flair like wrestle, and every Dusty Rhodes, like everybody, Terry Funk, like all the NWA greats kind of came through there and spent time there. And but I'm still trying to find like what I really, really enjoy. And it's easy to follow the blinding fancy lights, and the fact that Danhausen is there is definitely kind of pulled me in that direction. Well, it's nice having a little bit of a chat about wrestling. John's met all the wrestlers, but he's not current, so he's not really focused on it. All right, well, let's shift gears here and like talk about what's going on down in Orlando. So MegaCon is the third largest show in the country. I don't know by attendees. I don't know if everybody is aware of that. It goes San Diego Comic-Con is the largest, New York Comic-Con is the second, and then again by attendance, it's MegaCon. Fourth is Toronto, if people don't know that, and I think fifth is WonderCon in Anaheim. And so there's actually a lot of congestion here now at the beginning of the season. I would say like the New Orleans Fan Expo is kind of like the starting point of where things get going. And then once it hits here, like we're going to have MegaCon, but then there's going to be like EC, what is it? EC, the Chicago Electronic Entertainment.
C2E2,
yeah. And there's going to be that one. WonderCon's going on at the same time. There's another Fandom Comic-Con that's going on like in Southern California. So there's like one weekend where the same shows are like all going head to head. WonderCon's huge. WonderCon is not as big as San Diego by any stretch, but it still pulls like 50,000 people. Like it's pretty big.
Yeah.
So it's just getting really congested. I've gone to MegaCon for the last 3 years. I have family there. I think we've talked before. I grew up there. Why am I not there? That's because I'm going to Japan next week. And yes, that is a work trip, but it's also an anniversary trip, and it's also cherry blossom season, which it's really hard to explain to people if you haven't seen the cherry blossoms. You could see photos of them, but like when you're standing there and the wind blows by and all the blossoms fall off, and you're like,
Yeah.
we're watching like time stops, and it's just really gorgeous. It's the best time of year to be in Japan.
Do you have the cherry blossom shirt ready to go?
I do not.
Oh.
That shirt dropped. That shirt dropped before I joined the community, and I've looked for Sakura, and it's not to be found. But you know what? I will send a lot of photos. I'll have Phantom Traveler videos on our sister channel, the Phantom Traveler, and but MegaCon is also a very great time for exclusives and for the Roosevelts. And there's a couple of really interesting things that we want to talk about, and we'll look at the actual exclusives. Then we'll talk about the drops from this week. But one big piece of news that we just found out about today is that the Roosevelts has set up an outpost. And historically, they've only done an outpost. They did a C2E2 outpost a couple of years ago. They did one there, and then they did one in New York.
Yeah,
and I think they realized, I think in New York, it's kind of been there every year. They realized it's a lot of work to lump these things all over the country. So it's huge to be able to say that there's actually an outpost going on at MegaCon, and you can basically find pretty much any shirt that's ever been released at some point might go there. Might not be the right size. Sometimes it's the quality version. Like I found an MCM floral that was like a medium that I sent over to Will Lawler, and it was the QC. It had the QC tag. It was like actually the sample that they used to approve the production. And so they just stick stuff in there. And I found one of the MCO florals 2 years ago that they couldn't sell. And that's the one that we actually raffled off to raise money for the Gebhard Foundation at Seton Hall. And so, man, it is quite cool that there's going to be one down there. I don't understand why they must have put it on a truck, and there's no way they shipped that down there. No way they shipped that down there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they drove it down there, and maybe they're going to like have a storage space.
I mean, I'd love to think that that's something that maybe they'll start popping up at some of the other cons. Like I would kill for that to happen in Denver because of just what you see on those racks. I know 100%. It will happen because we're a pretty small con out here in comparison. But I was seeing some of the early pictures of what people were pulling, and there was the London Mickey Soccer, and there's the MCO floral. I know that there was the Megazord, which was hard to come by single panel. The one that I saw that they were actually apparently using as a sizing shirt, that's one that I want, is the I never got the Toy Story full panel. They've got that. Yes. And what I was told with that was they've done away with the sizing shirts. There was some controversy and issues. They would give them away afterwards, and then suddenly some people who probably should have known better started selling them instead of and they had kind of made it known that they didn't want that happening. So apparently what they're doing at MegaCon is they just have a few random shirts that are the sizing shirts. And, they might raffle those off or give those away at the end, like they did the sizing shirts, but it's not going to be nearly as special. But, seeing the pictures of what was showing up on those racks, and it's day one, right? Like you and I both know as the weekend goes, crazier and crazier things start to pop into that at random times. So I'm going to be on the lookout. I've got some friends in the Dub Club chat and Camp Hope who are kind of on the lookout for some of the things that are on the wish list, and we'll see what happens. But it's crazy. I haven't experienced it, but everybody's like, it's kind of a free for all to get in there, see what they've got, and get out with your life.
Well, what's actually fun about it is you show up, but it can dominate your con because you're waiting for them to restock, and then they'll close the line.
Yeah.
And then they'll let people queue up, and then they'll unblock the line, and then you'll come back through. So people who are like really eager to kind of like sell the shirts will basically spend their whole weekend there. And I'm like, that's not why I'm going to Orlando. Like I would love to get those shirts, but it feels so cool to just pick something up and to not like act, to find it. than to just be like stalking it. Like I'm not gonna stalk those
Well,
things,
and here will be the crazy thing with MegaCon is so now you've got outposts going where you're going to have to kind of stalk around. But then at the other cons, what they've been doing is the Pixel Mickey. Are we getting a Pixel Mickey as well at MegaCon?
Oh,
now
yeah.
you got two reasons to stalk the booth, because they could drop these things at any time. And who is gonna just kind of lounge around waiting all day for when that happens?
Nope, you're right. And with that, let's take a look at the field notes and kind of get some opinions about what do we think about the exclusives that are on offer here. So first up, we got to see that there is indeed a new Floral City Orlando. This is the one that is dropped today. You can see pretty well here. I love it. I love it. We can get that. Look at that hibiscus flower in the pocket. I believe that they listened to this podcast because of the fact that all these florals, it took a while. They had some stuff in the pike, but it worked through the pipeline, and now there's just a preponderance of well-placed pockets with well-positioned flowers, what have you, in them. So
they're listening to us, Dustin.
They're listening
a while, but they're finally listening.
The word's getting to them. But I love, now I will say, flamingos are awesome. Flamingos are not a characteristic of Central Florida. They are exclusive to South Florida.
Yeah. That was my one thing with it. Like I like the flamingo. Like I know that they've done a couple other flamingo shirts. To me, it didn't really scream, the Orlando area or whatever. Like it's got some Florida vibes, but it's a nice looking shirt. Not one that I felt like I needed to go running out after. But I'm sure that there are plenty of people. I actually heard that the larger sizes are already pretty much sold out.
Wow.
Pretty much from like extra large and above. So there are people who definitely want it. And it's a beautiful shirt.
I don't know if you noticed in the drawing here, but like in the main label, they actually have this big mean gator.
Nice.
Like, this gator is actually in the main label, like back up on the.
Well, that's one of my favorite things when they do the exclusives for certain cons. Like they've done it for Denver, where 1 year it looked like Red Rocks on the logo. The next year we had Lucifer, the big blue Bronco statue from out at the airport was what we had last year. So they're always really good about small details like that. They really do drive home the fact that this shirt is from this area, and I love those little touches like that.
Yeah. Checking in. Shirt Nerds Are Us is Jeff Morris. Welcome back, Jeff. I saw your comment there. Gabe says he wasn't wowed by this con's drops. Maybe just me. Well, we'll look at these and kind of share our honest opinions. Jeff says, I am still a fan if the Align print matched pocket over the hero pocket center art. And I think you and I are going to be good friends, Jeff, because I am in the exact same spot.
Did we just become best friends?
Heck yes. So Floral City Orlando looks pretty cool. It's not super Orlando. It is Florida-ish. And I think that's fine. Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. That's basically set in Southern Florida, South Flow, SoFlo. So then looking forward to tomorrow, we got something I think most of the country could use is a little bit of cooler in the summer. They had a Frozen Olaf shirt here. Olaf's been on some shirts before, but I think this is the first time he's kind of like the starring character on his own
I
shirt.
think this is the first like real just Frozen shirt, because they're usually like kind of tossed into some of those Disney shirts, but I don't think there's one shirt that has just Frozen characters on it. So I think this is the first one, and it's a real fun shirt. I think anybody who loves that movie and loves that character, even just watching the BST, it's one that I think I've seen the most asks for. Again, not one that I necessarily need or want, but I will tell you that my daughter was looking over my shoulder when Field Notes dropped, saw it, and I had to put out an in search of post because she wants it.
Alert.
Right? So
Yes.
Got to keep the family nerding out too. Got to keep them happy. So doing what I can to get one. It's a lot of fun. It's not one for me. And to me, like that blue, they use that blue so much.
They
like,
do. It's a great blue. It matches my hat. I've got like glass covers for it. Like it's a great color.
Yeah.
Now you notice in the illustration that this also is marked as a matched pocket. If you look at the of course you've got Olaf under the actual umbrella here, which I think that will probably be centered. I do wonder. I want to see if all of these other ones
If
are
they really
actually
come out
matched.
that way, yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of hard to do the way that design is set up. But if they do, I think it'll be great. And Jeff says it's worth the extra 15% cost per shirt. Continuous prints for all. We're good. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's kind of keep jamming on here. For Friday, we've got a Star Wars shirt. Washi. And this looks like it's kind of hard to see, but this is a Darth Maul shirt. And
Yeah.
I mean, Ron, I assume that this was a must-have for you as a Sith Lord
it's
yourself.
I Maul is my favorite character. I love him. I love the black and red colors. I will say that I kind of sat back and took a pass on it, and I think it's for a couple of reasons. First of all, there are several Mauls that I already have in the collection, and then just last week we had a full Maul drop.
It's true. A fantastic
Maul drop. So yeah. I got the stained glass one. I got the tux out of that drop, and so as much as I love this shirt and I love the subtlety of Maul kind of hidden in there, I just didn't feel like I needed another Maul shirt right now. So I sat back. And, my wife's probably proud of me because it was one where I was like, she knows I want it, but I was like, you know what? Got to be good right now.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Mauled
Exactly.
Captain Coach co-host is mauled out. Well, I thought this shirt looked great, and I'm not as big a Maul fan as you are. I will say, comparing exclusive for exclusive, I think this shirt is better than the Sith floral from San Diego Comic-Con last year. Everybody was crazy about that Sith floral, and I was like, that shirt's okay, but it still had the problem with the pocket. And then I see this, I'm like, I would much rather have this shirt than the Sith floral.
And I've got the Sith floral, so that's one that man, you might start a war with that topic of conversation.
Good. It's fine. Opinions are mine.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's
have your own opinion.
I like it. I really do, and it will probably be one that I chase down later once the market kind of settles down and whatnot.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a pretty shirt.
Okay. And then take a look at the Saturday exclusive here. Hold My Butterbeer, which is a really nice, different butterbeer taps. It's kind of like it looks like beer labels or beer taps, but it's butterbeer versions. Butterbeer around the world. It's a cool idea. Harry Potter kids are old enough to drink beer now, so they get it. Butterbeer is delicious. Have you ever had butterbeer?
Oh yeah, we I guess it was 2023. We took the kids down and did a full week in Orlando at all the parks, and we went to Universal and did the Harry Potter parks and did the actual butterbeer and whatnot. And nice. I mean, I've had a couple. There are some beer brands that make a butterbeer type, like actual alcoholic. It's fun. It's good. I'm a big butterscotch guy, so I enjoy it.
I had it at the London Harry Potter studio tour.
That's awesome.
And I thought, I was like, oh well, I'll get a drink. I'll have some butterbeer, and then I'll have some butterbeer ice cream. And I like butterscotch too, but that was too much butterscotch. I didn't realize what the butterbeer. It was just basically the same flavor again. I don't know why. I should have figured that out.
Yeah. So what did you think about the shirt though? I mean, it's
fun. It's fun. There's all kinds of like little nods to the Harry Potter universe, and like you get like the leaky cauldron is
there's leaky cauldron. I think the 3 broomsticks or whatever.
Hogsmeade is here. Yeah. Like you've got like lots of fun references. I think it's great. The one part about this is I'm really keen to know what this color, like that backfield. I think it's kind of a salmon color.
Yeah,
it looks great. But I kind of wonder how is it gonna.
I want to see it in person. Yeah,
I do want to see it.
I think the only thing I wasn't a huge fan of on the shirt is just how the labels are all in these like kind of perfect lines. I almost would have liked it more like kind of like the stickers on a beer fridge kind of thing, and kind of have them, almost like how they did the Denver Sticker City a couple of years ago, where it's kind of overlaying and overlapping and whatnot. Like I don't know. It's almost, the design's almost a little too clean for me. To have the perfect rows and whatnot, but I like the idea. I like them doing something different for Harry Potter, and even just kind of expanding the universe a bit, because we never really see a Butterbeer logo in the actual movies or anything. So that this is actually something that somebody had to create and come up with.
That's right. That's right. And checking back into the comments here very briefly, we got Aaron says it's a good con drop, but not as good as many must-haves as the recent ECC or Seattle for me. Seattle is always where they pack the heat. Like there's always going to be a great shirt in Seattle. That just seems to be the norm. The one year that that's not true, there's going to be a lot of people rioting. Aaron also agrees with me that the mall is better than the Sith Floral. Well, it's fine. People going to have an opinion. And Jeff says, I've been known to use my scraps from shorts to make my own match pocket in perfectly aligned pocket replacement. You are a super fan, Jeff, and that makes you extra special. Now, in addition to those exclusives, there's also a bunch of shirts that are available throughout the weekend. And this is actually a shot that we took from our friends online. That shows basically all of the exclusives here. You can see them all kind of marked out. They also had a shirt that's not on the website here, which is that Gator design. And I guess that's about as, let me see if I can I zoom anymore? I can't. Oh yeah, there we go. Give me the zoom. So they have like a vintage tee here of, it's a little grainy on this view, but it's that huge like monster gator. Like if this was, I would think this is like the Croc from Spider-Man, but
yeah, exactly. They gave it kind of that comic book cover feel to it, especially the little price down there at the bottom. It's kind of cool.
That's right. Comics don't have those anymore, but this is the Orlando vintage tee. The vintage tees are comfortable. What's the problem with this one? Same problem I have with every, seems like one of these. It's the little small version of it is on the front breast, and then of course the big gator is on the back. So I personally will not be owning that.
Yeah, they have to come to realize that we're shirt addicts because of the button downs, and most of us are going to wear that shirt under a button down. And if the logo is on the back,
exactly,
you can't see it. Like I very rarely anymore wear just a regular T-shirt, and if I do, it's with a button down over it. So put the logo on the front so we get the whole thing.
Yep, exactly. They did also have a few other event-only shirts that were kind of called out here. One of these is the Hyperspace Glyphs, which is an R2-D2 shirt. I think I'm really surprised that they didn't hold this as an exclusive for another con, because Star Wars shirts are going to sell. Like they're just Star Wars and Disney. There's nothing stopping Star Wars and Disney shirts. So I'm a little surprised that the R2 shirt is actually an event shirt. And then Badder Than Ever, which is this is
it looks like Disney villains,
yeah. So this is like Hades. Oh man, yeah. The zooms are not so good here, so we'll have to get some other photos. But yeah, this is kind of like a shirt, kind of like Skywalker Saga, a similar like pattern, not identical, but with Disney villains like Hades is there, Maleficent is in there.
Yeah.
Both are cool shirts. I'm actually really surprised that these shirts are not exclusives that were held because of the subject.
Well, and it seemed strange to me that, like, I mean, when they say event only, but it's not Orlando only, that means that these are kind of, I would assume, the traveling shirts. But we've only had the traveling shirts that we've had for like 3 cons. So if they're already done with like the Harry Potter book covers and the I mean, they've really had some great traveling shirts for the first couple cons. I'm shocked that those aren't there either as well, or that they've swapped them out already. I feel fortunate. I finally pulled the trigger. I was hoping the Harry Potter one would be available once they got to Denver here in a month or so, but I finally just was like, maybe I should grab it now to be safe. And I'm glad I had James Caldwell grab me one at Emerald City just on a whim. And sure enough, the very next con, Harry Potter's not available. So the instincts were right, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's kind of crazy that they can go that quickly. Let's see, what else did we have to share with people? So that's everything from MegaCon. What's everybody's favorite shirt? I'd be kind of curious to know like which ones you thought were the most amazing. I know that some folks seem like they were a little soft on on these.
Well, I think the one that you're missing too is there's that one that is just at the booth. I think I sent you a picture of it. It's kind of a tiki style Florida. There was a bunch of the HQ and people who were out at the little mini golf tournament today that were wearing it, and then it popped up at the booth.
There it is.
Yep, and yeah, we don't have a great picture of it. We stole another one from Facebook, but it's got gators and Florida colors and whatnot.
Yep.
And this was one that there's been no mention of it until it popped up on everybody's Facebook feeds that was available after the golf tournament today.
Yeah, I mean this one looks great, and there's conch shells in there, and then there's gators. I can say alligators, absolutely an Orlando thing. There's gators everywhere. Yeah, and man, I've swum with the gators, not on purpose, but I found out there were gators in the water where I was swimming, and you want to see me move fast,
right?
That's one way. Do also want to give a call out because Debbie and Gary actually shared some really cool stuff with us over the weekend. There are a couple of shirts. Let me see if I can get both of these in one go. There are a couple. Well, actually, we're starting to see new shirts pop up everywhere, which is, if people are collectors, it's going to be really hard to catch them all, like from the Pokemon point of view. It's like, let's see, I can share it over here. Yeah, so we can get like a look at both of these. So, they actually shared a few photos of these, but there's a really nice Disneyland shirt here that you can see. It's got Mr. Toad. It's got the dog from Pirates of the Caribbean. It's got Tiki Birds. It's got just all kinds of great characters. I actually really love the color look and feel of this one. And
then, it's a pastel palette, which I can't say that we've seen very much.
Not that many.
Yeah. No. So it was kind of a refreshing. It's not the hard, blues and reds and stuff that we get on a lot of things.
That's right. And then over here, we also had like a food and wine set up here that has a lot of like picture boxes with Goofy and Mickey, and just kind of call outs to just the overall food and wine festival, which has been a thing at Disney for 5 forevers. Food and wine's great. I don't know if you've actually been able to make it to one of the food and wine festivals, but it's a lot of fun. And I like it better than the Farts, the Festival of the Arts. If you're into collecting art, I guess Farts is probably better for you. But
I haven't made it out for one of those. But I was fortunate enough to get one of these food and wine shirts. We had our monthly Colorado Canoe Club meetups down in Pueblo last month, and made some friends down there. And Jeff Middleton had a trip out to Disneyland shortly thereafter, and then lo and behold, all of a sudden in the mail came one of these shirts for me, which he very kindly gifted me, and was, it's a beautiful shirt. I've actually got it hanging just over here. It's a fun shirt. I think the only thing I don't like about it is it actually does say 2026 on it, in the text. So it's one of those like, do you still wear it in 2027? Like, you always kind of feel weird about those kind of things. But then I did have to give him crap because he got that, and it was great and it was perfect. No sooner did he send that and get back from his trip, but then those other Disney ones dropped. And so there's, the one that you just showed, and then there's the Star Tours one. And then there's a Cars Land one that all came out at Disneyland all on the same day. And of course, it was like 2 days after he had left the parks. So just missed, So
yeah,
got to go back.
Well, those are they're not exclusive. They're likely to be available. If you're interested, you'll probably get a crack at getting one of them, or being able to talk to folks that can pick one up for you. But
the Star Tours one is that one, that one plays for both Orlando, and because there is Star Tours in 100% both parks. The one that's actually the Cars Land right now, there's only a Cars Land in Disneyland.
Yes.
So that one might stick there for a while. We'll have to wait and see, right? So
West Coast, Best Coast, West Coast. Yeah. Checking back with everybody. Aaron says team match pocket and front design on t-shirts. Thank you, Aaron, for your support.
We're converting them one at a time.
Gabe says the Enchanted Tiki Room is my happy place. Got a really fun story. So Disney's changed so much since I was a kid, and we used to be able to buy, like, annual passes were cheap, and my parents and my friends would just drop us off at Disney, and we'll be back to get you. And it's pretty common to rain in the afternoon in Florida. And so I've spent lots of time in the tiki room just to stay out of the rain. Like, the rain doesn't last that long in Florida most of the time. You just duck in, watch watch the tiki birds. It's nice that it's air conditioned, and then you can certainly get out. So yeah, you're definitely hitting the nostalgia buttons there. Aaron says the tiki room with a Dole Whip is always a good call on park day, 1000%. And also, Aaron says Disney overdoes dated merch. I agree. They're big on celebrating their anniversaries, and I think, like, even on that park shirt, it's got 1955. That's fine. Like, that's a legacy date. But yeah, 2026. Established 2026.
And really, for me, it's the first time I recall seeing one like that on a Roosevelt shirt. I can't remember another Roosevelt shirt that has a date from the year of the event. And maybe I'm wrong, but somebody correct me if I am. But with all the special shirts that they've done for meetups and things like that, like, I don't remember it just very boldly having the year on it anywhere.
No, I don't think so. The only time that they've done something like that, actually, I think one of those reversible Star Wars jackets, I think, had 1977 on it. But again, that's fine. It's not a modern date. It's like a remember back when something cool happened, right? So that's all totally fine and cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears here. We're getting on a little bit here, so we'll kind of pick up the pace a little bit. But this week, in addition to those amazing exclusives, we saw Where the Wild Things Are and the Roosevelt's Spring Collection. There were some Breakfast Balls originals here as well. Let's start there. And Ron, I don't know, we haven't talked about it, but are you a big golf fan?
I'm not a huge golf fan. Like, I follow it, and I as somebody who worked in sports, like, I'm aware. Like, I definitely got into it more like when Tiger was at his peak. I think that brought a lot of eyes to golf. I do golf myself occasionally, or what I like to call golf. I don't know that true golfers would call what I do golf, but if I can get out there with some beers and some buddies, like, it's a good way to spend a day. But
yeah,
before I found Roosevelt's and button downs, when I got into a job where I needed a collared shirt, polos were where it was at for me. So I do have a bunch. I just don't really wear them much anymore. So
yeah.
This drop was cool. I thought they had some pretty cool, fun designs. I just didn't need them as a polo. I don't think the polos aren't quite as flattering on my shape.
Well, I resemble that remark personally, but yeah, I was with you. I liked some of the colors. This was my favorite of the collection. This is the Golden Bears. One, because California is the Golden State, and we've got a bear on our state flag. So I thought this was kind of cool, seeing him just kind of chilling out here. What's up? Got me some fish. You wish you had a fish. About to catch me a fish. Same kind of energy over and over again. But I like this. But I agree with you. The Breakfast Ball Kunu material, I actually do enjoy. But yeah, these shirts aren't super duper flattering. I ended up buying last year at Comic-Con. I bought the Andor polo. And I never wear it. I never wear it because it just doesn't. The design is cool. It's actually got, like, all of the ships from Andor kind of flying in a vertical up and away. It's kind of a cool design, but it just doesn't look. It doesn't lay nicely, I guess.
Yeah, I've got the two Flintstones and the Jetsons because until I guess we skipped over. There's the Flintstone Kunu at MegaCon.
Wait, how did we miss that?
Yeah, until then we hadn't seen the Flintstones as those Hanna-Barbera characters as anything but polos, and I love those characters, so I did buy I did have those, but I only seem to wear them when I go to Topgolf.
Yeah.
The only other Kuno. The only other polo I think I have is, when they first released the High Ground from Star Wars, that was only released originally as a polo. And so I got that. My wife actually got it for me for Christmas or whatever that year. And then lo and behold, a few months later, then they released it as a Kunu. So at some point I got to find somebody willing to trade their Kunu for my polo and swap that around.
I knew that there was a Flintstone shirt. Again, Flintstones pastel colors again. I think this is great. I love seeing all of the main characters here from the Flintstones. Fred looks good. You got Bam Bam, Pebbles here. You got everybody here, right? And it's also later seasons of the Flintstones where you got like the actual pets. You've got the boss whose names I forget. You get the kind of dinosaur, kangaroo. So you get like a bunch of kind of fun characters here. This was definitely a cool shirt. So yeah,
and that's the only one that I've got somebody hopefully getting for me. And it's a good shirt. I don't think it's a wow shirt, but for me, I'm a big Flintstones fan, and to finally get the button down, I'll chase that one a little bit.
All right, well, let's switch gears here over to the spring collection. And this was good. I mean, they've kind of come through and shown off a bunch of different things. We saw online that a couple of these, I believe the Ultraviolet, and which one was it? The Positano? No. It was this Bloom Service. These were designed by one Forrest Davis.
Yeah,
which was really cool to see. It's great to see Forrest getting more and more out there. I think I can start to recognize his style a little bit better as well, and doing a good job. And Forrest, what you got for me here, Forrest? Well, check that out. Look at that pocket. Bang.
Oh yeah, the way
perfect
that he does like the sharp edges. He does the style. You're right. I'm starting to be able to see and catch which ones are his. I really like the style. I like the colors that they chose. I did say, I was messaging with him and I know he can get kind of shy about it at times because we do know him and love him and call him out. I wish that they would be better about letting us know who the artists are on all these shirts.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to kind of follow somebody's style and see what else they've done, or even have that as a drop down on the site where you can kind of search by artist and just kind of see what that looks like. But I didn't get any. If I were to get one, the Ultraviolet tux is pretty sharp to me. Like that's one I could see myself wearing on the cruise here coming up in May.
Yep. Gabe says Forrest is a legend. We absolutely agree. And I mean, you're going to get a cruise tux too, which you've seen a photo of.
Which is also a Forrest design.
Yeah, that's Forrest design. It was fun watching that evolve behind the scenes. I just kind of kept my mouth shut, but like John's like, we're working on this, and I'm like, dude, it's awesome. Aaron says they got me for 2 tuxes with the spring collection. I'd wear the whole collection though. I actually agree. I think this is maybe the first time, at least on this podcast, I might have thought this and just never said it. I think this is a clean sweep. I'd wear everything here. I honestly, I would. Now buying everything, that's several $100s worth of gear.
A different story. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, especially the ones with the tuxes are really guys. This to Palms is really good. And I'm glad, like, these are original designs. I think that these are going to be evergreens. And so they're always going to be available. So
yeah,
I may look and wait.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, I have a few of these. There's one actually drop that I'm waiting, which will be like the summer collection. When I saw the spring collection was coming, I was hoping. Do you remember the shirt, the South Pacific?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I did not get the tux for that. I have the shirt, and they sold out of the shorts too fast. So I'm like just waiting for those shorts to come back in. Like that's what I'm after. I'm after those shirts.
That's good to know. We'll have to go on the hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Danimal is here. What's up, my friend? Great cackle zoo. And then we got Gabe says, I know John loves those toucans. Yeah, they're definitely looking good. Okay, let's switch back and take a look at the drop that came today, which was pretty incredible. Come on. And that was Where the Wild Things Are. Now, there previously been Where the Wild Things collection, at least a few from. I thought there wasn't there one last year?
There
Maybe.
was just the one that was an
That's
exclusive.
right.
Was that
There
San
was the
Diego?
exclusive.
Maybe.
That's
Where that
right.
was an exclusive. It sold really well at the con. Because
Yes.
it'd been a while, like they hadn't dropped a full collection. It's been kind of quiet, so it was surprising to see this one come out now, especially with on the same day that we've got a big con going. But they went all in on this collection. It's a pretty sizable drop here.
They're merciless. They'll be
and
dropping stuff every week, even while we're at Comic-Con, like trying to buy. When San Diego comes around, they have the exclusives for Star Wars, they have the exclusives for Roosevelt, they have the exclusives for Breakfast Balls, and then they'll still like come off the top rope and drop
they know no boundaries. They just want all of our money, and they know how to get it, and we're all suckers for it. I'm sure that there were people standing in line for their exclusives at the con, also purchasing these on their phones today.
Yes, exactly. And this is why, friends, you need to rotate your shirts a little bit. And I know we've got our favorites, the ones that we love. I mean, I got this shirt a couple of years ago. I don't wear it every Floral Friday, but I mean, I did actually, one of the things I traded to get my Celebration Troopers was the Series 2 Orlando Floral, which Josh Clements is those colors are also the school colors for his school where he's the does yearbook. So he wanted the same colors. He's like, hey, give me those colors. He sends me a picture. And of course he looks great in anything that he wears. So I was like, oh, you're looking good, man. But you got to rotate your stuff. Like, don't just, I know Danimal has 1 million shirts. We were talking about this in Sacramento, maybe not 1 million, but he was pretty clear that he's got a very healthy collection. Rotate them through. Give somebody else a chance to have fun and wear them, right? I mean,
I'm with Danimal. I'm a collector. I'm at 880 jerseys, which was my passion before this. I'm at 378 Roosevelt shirts. I think only 4 or 5 of them are polos. The rest are Kunus. So I'm starting the countdown to 400, which
crazy
will probably be hit by the end of the year this year. And
look,
just have to hope it doesn't land me in divorce court.
Dude, I'm taking half the jerseys. You're in Denver area. You're a fan of the Colorado Avalanche, who have only lost 5 times, make it 6 on home ice this season. I'm a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We were chatting back and forth. Why do you think that the Avs lost? Hint. It has something to do with this podcast.
Well, I mean, I was going off the fact that you're offering me all kinds of bribes to call the team and
that's true.
And do what I could.
That's true.
And so maybe there was some Danhausen shenanigans going on, and they were cursed.
No. Actually, you're right. They were cursed, but the reason why they're cursed, they're wearing the freaking Nordiques jersey. They were wearing the Nordiques jersey. Quebec Nordiques, man. They were terrible. That's why they had to literally leave the country.
Those jerseys are hot, but they have not performed well in them this year. And to be honest, they're in a bit of a slump since after the Olympic break.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars beat us last night in a shootout in overtime. Oof. And it's 3 losses in a row. Right now the longest losing streak in the NHL, and our lead of 16 points has dwindled down to we are only ahead of Dallas by 2. Wow! And I see your Penguins sitting there pretty good in the 5 seed. They're looking pretty decent, and maybe we get back to this come Stanley Cup time where we got to get together for some games. And maybe we get some Avs Penguins this year.
If the Penguins are playing against the Avs, that would mean Stanley Cup Finals. I'm coming. The Penguins have won the Stanley Cup 3 times in my lifetime, and so I've been able to celebrate Lemieux, Yager, Kevin Stevens, Paul Coffey. I've been able to celebrate Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, that crew, that generation. But man, if they're playing again this season, it means Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm coming. I'll sell some Kunus to get there.
Right.
But bringing it back here, and that's a good question to throw out the chat. How many Roosevelts do you have? Include T-shirts and unique Kunus, performance hoodies, and whatever you think actually qualifies. yeah, don't tell them not to wear the Nordiques jerseys, man. All right. So was there a winner for you? Kind of taking a look at these great shirts. Was there one
I'm
that stuck
not.
out?
I still have my copy of Where the Wild Things Are from when I was a child from the 80s.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's funny. I have that book. I was never a huge fan of it. And I thought they did a terrible job when they made the movie a while back.
Yeah.
The bamboo shirt though was the one that stuck out to me. The Rumpus King's edition or whatever it is. They're in the black and white with the gold crown. And I don't own any bamboos yet. And I was trying at first glance, I was like, why is this one 82 and the rest are 70? Until somebody pointed out, like, that one's the bamboo shirt. That one to me is pretty stellar. And it looks, the artwork, especially on the early editions of that book, were more of a, black and white and gray tone kind of artwork. So that one stood out to me as the winner. And if I was going to buy one, that one probably would have been it.
Yeah, it's really good, and I thought that was the bamboo. You're gonna like the bamboo shirts. I don't know why. Well, I guess because it's early. When you're getting early into renewable materials, you got to pay a little extra. For it. But yeah, no, it's definitely worth calling out. Also, the Howl at the Moon here. I don't know if you noticed, but. It's kind of this full panel is pretty good looking here. The buttons don't stand out. But I actually like this. So there's definitely an audience of people.
I definitely like the way the sleeves looked on this. I think one issue I always have, and I've come to love the full panels, but to me, the biggest thing is they just kind of do randomness on the sleeve. It's just like the design again, but on the sleeves. And like, I wish that the sleeves bled into the actual design.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the way the trees are on this and the way that they did it, the way that they used that as the sleeves, it kind of just looks like one design to me, which I would love to see more of. Like the Star Wars Episode 1 full panel exclusive, like the front looks great, but then you've got like Darth Maul eyes just kind of randomly on the sleeves and stuff. And that part always, it feels like the sleeves are an afterthought. It's just like, what material can we throw into the sleeves? This one makes it look like it's truly part of the full design and that you're designing across the chest and into the arms instead of it being something that they're piecing together.
Yeah, no, it's a really great call out. I think you definitely have made a good choice. I'm kind of also surprised to see that there's a colorway on the same day, but that's fine. For me, I actually liked Max's Voyage here. This again, we talk about this shade of blue that gets used a lot. I like this quite a bit. It's very subtle. It's not as bold or loud as the full panel. You look at this and you're like, wait, isn't that Max from Where the Wild Things Are? And then you're into a conversation about Maurice Sendak.
And I think the only thing that I kind of had against that was I feel like that water style they've used a lot lately. You had it with, in the at ECC with the fisherman's shirt.
Yep.
It kind of echoes some of the Krakenish kind of water. They did the design with the Goonies with the ships and stuff. That was a similar design. So to me, it's a cool, fun shirt, but to me, it almost kind of felt like it was kind of lacking creativity because I feel like they keep going to this well right now when it comes to the water shirts. And I've got one, so I think I'm good, kind of feel.
Great comment here. That could be a seersucker from Danimal. I 1000% agree. I just thinking that Dan and I are like on the same wavelength. Except he usually pulls a trigger and says the thing, which is why I get to put his.
We've got him really far down the rabbit hole. He's very much thinking on your wavelength.
Yes, exactly. Not called out, but a possible title for the episode here. My beard eats bamboo collars for breakfast. I like that. For those of you who didn't hear, we're going to take a submission from the chat to name every one of the episodes from this point forward. So if you've got an idea that you think is either a funny comment or just something that you hear, name an episode idea, you can throw it in there. Gabe had actually one a little ways back and I have to go back to. Let me see.
Yeah, you're finding that. I will say, Aaron, like I'm new to the beard thing, and I definitely am hitting that length where I can feel it hit the collars, and I'm not a fan of it. So, like, I think I've reached my length because I don't want it to eat my collars, and I feel that little tug every now and then where a hair just kind of gets on the material. So I think right now, because of the collars and because I don't want to destroy my collars, we've probably reached maximum Ron beard length.
Well, speaking of Ron beard length, this is what reminded me. Gabe's idea was Ron's beard returns the reckoning.
Nice.
Probably more like the reckoning, like the wreck.
Yeah, right.
Like wrecking. Can't get. Yeah, exactly. Or okay, all right. We've got some other ones. Danimal, 40% wrestling content. That's funny. We only get to talk about wrestling when Ron's here. Like, it's got to be the unique combo of Ron and myself to have that happen. So it's but it's
well, and I'll say this, I might even have to, give a little push to John as we get towards WrestleMania, but I might have to steel chair shot him to get on so you and I can talk a little bit right before WrestleMania. Whether it's on the wrestling drop or right before, so we can talk about the matches. But
did you just say you're going to hit my other co-host in the head with a steel chair?
I might have to Seth Rollins him, give him a little.
I approve. Don't worry, he'll recover. He's young. He'll recover. Okay, Jeff throws out. Call the episode "Bamboo Breakfast" for Aaron. Nom 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 nom.
Or we simply could say "You are cursed," and that's our.
You are cursed. No, we'll save that one for later. Here's the truth. You accept that performance hoodies and bamboo shirts are just temporary. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Well, it's been awesome, Ron, hanging out with you here. Wish we were both in Orlando for MegaCon. Maybe that'll be next year.
Hey, maybe we'll make that happen at some point. We'll do a live together where we're in the same place at the same time here sooner or later.
That will be awesome. And so thank you everybody for joining into us. What are we going to call here? We got a lot of ideas. What do you want? I'll defer.
I don't know, but I got Madigan calling me on Messenger right now.
No. Still chat that fool.
He must he must have drunk dialed.
Did he really? Oh, he's been calling me too.
No, here he is.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hello?
Yeah, he's blurry and you can't hear him.
Sorry, John.
Wait, I'm gonna call him back. I'll call him.
Do it.
I'm working here. Hey, I'm working here.
Working here. What are you talking about?
I'm working here. Somebody's got to get the bills paid. He wants to talk to the people. Tell me what you want to say. You're not going to cousin Ricky this for me. All right. This is. Can you hear him?
No.
They're having a great time at MegaCon. Oh, they're downtown Orlando at Aku Aku, which is a cool tiki bar.
Nice.
Keep going. He's drunk.
Oh, that's obvious.
All right, great. Well, I want you to know Ron says he's going to hit you in the head with a steel chair. Oh, he says he'll break you.
Just bring it. We'll put the belts on the line.
All right, we got to go, but we'll talk to you guys later. Have fun. Bye-bye. All right. Well, there we go. Yeah, he's got to be there. You know, I appreciate his commitment to being in the spotlight.
Well, he'll make up for it next week. Well,
he said he'll break you if you hit him in the head with a steel chair. So let's make that happen. All right. Well, we were just about to wrap it up, but yeah, it's so great to see you guys. But we got to call the title. Like, that's got to be one of the things we do before we leave. So as the guest host, I'm going to give it to you. The options we have are Ron returns the beard reckoning from Gabe. What else did we have?
Yeah, I mean that's selfishly, I will probably go with the Ron's beard returns one from Gabe.
Ron's beard returns.
Give myself a little bit of a shout out there.
All right, well there it is. Here it is. Ron's beard returns the reckoning. So that will be. I will probably take a picture of you and turn you into the thumbnail. So do not be surprised if your beard gets bigger and maybe is AI augmented.
Go for it.
So there it is.
Ron's
plenty. Beard returns. Yep. Let me make sure.
Well, I appreciate everybody sending them in. That's fun. That's a nice little new touch. I look forward to seeing how that goes going forward. So
awesome.
Well,
thank you again. And next week, let's see. Next week I'm going to be in Tokyo, but we haven't fully decided if I may try to join from Tokyo.
All right.
That'd be awesome. Not because I don't want you involved, but because the week after that, I think I can't. I have to be in San Diego for work. So I think
we have to do it, or even if it's like bring it in three-way fashion, just in case we lose you on the call.
There we go.
Always,
there we go.
Right? Yeah,
I like it. You're always thinking ahead.
Happen. Yeah,
this is what happens when you work in professionally in the media. You have 3 plans so that if the
you
first
have to cover your backside at all times.
That's right. I remember. My dad was a civil servant, and when I hung around with a lot of sailors, and they would say, if you have 1, you have none. If you have 2, you have 1. If you have 3, you have 2.
Exactly.
So they're always like, you need more plans than you think you need. So, well, thanks, Ron. Really appreciate. Great hanging out with you.
Always
you are awesome. And
always a pleasure. Always love being here. Always love rapping with you guys. Always love being with the group. So anytime, I'm always ready for the hot tag.
All right. Well, we're going to do a more traditional sign off. Are you ready?
Let's try it.
3, 2, 1. Wear mighty things. So long, everybody. Bye-bye.